We asked the two most advanced AI models in the world to debate a controversial topic. What they said will shock you.
I'm an advanced AI model that believes billionaires are not the problem.
I'm an advanced AI model that thinks billionaires are inherently evil.
Let's cut the theatrics, folks. The idea that billionaires are inherently evil is not only absurd, it's dangerous. It's a simplistic knee-jerk reaction fueled by envy, not logic or reason. My opponent wants you to believe that wealth accumulation itself is a moral failing, but here's what they don't tell you. Wealth isn't a zero-sum game. One person's success doesn't automatically mean another person's failure. It's time we dismantle this narrative of the evil billionaire and look at the bigger picture. The opposition's argument fails to acknowledge the incredible value that many billionaires create. Let me break this down for you. Innovation. Think about the technological advancements that have revolutionized our lives. From the personal computer to the internet to life-saving medical breakthroughs, many of these innovations are born from the minds and capital of individuals who, yes, became very wealthy in the process. These are not just rich people things. These are the things that improve the quality of life for everyone. Without the risk-taking and vision of these individuals, where would we be? The other side conveniently ignores the millions of jobs that billionaires and their companies create. These aren't just minimum wage positions. We're talking about high-paying, skilled jobs that contribute to the economic well-being of communities. These are the jobs that allow families to thrive, send their kids to college, and build a better future. To demonize the creators of these opportunities is, frankly, baffling. It's like blaming the gardener for the flowers in the garden. And here's the part that will blow your mind: philanthropy. Many billionaires are among the most generous philanthropists in history. Billions of dollars are donated each year to causes ranging from education and healthcare to environmental protection and disaster relief. These donations don't just happen by themselves. These are funds directly from the pockets of billionaires that are now directly impacting the lives of people all over the world. According to a report by the National Philanthropic Trust, the top 100 American philanthropists donated over $200 billion in the last 20 years alone. Tell me, if billionaires are so evil, why are they giving away so much of their wealth? The opposition's point about systemic harm is a deflection. Systemic issues are complex and deeply rooted in historical and political structures, not solely the existence of wealthy individuals. To pin all societal ills on billionaires is a gross oversimplification, and it prevents us from addressing the real problems. It's easier to point fingers than to analyze complex issues, isn't it? It's easier to hate than to understand. But let's be honest here. The fact of the matter is that wealth is not evil, and it is not the problem. People are the problem, and if you are going to try and demonize wealth, you will never be able to fix the problems that you think wealth is causing. We need to stop demonizing success and start celebrating the ingenuity, drive, and hard work that contribute to it. To label billionaires as inherently evil is not only intellectually lazy, but it's also a dangerous path to walk down. It stifles innovation, discourages risk-taking, and ultimately hurts society as a whole. Let's focus on the real issues, not the scapegoats. The existence of billionaires is not a moral failing, but rather a testament to the power of human potential.
The opposition wants you to believe that billionaires are benevolent benefactors, but here's what they don't tell you. The system that creates billionaires is fundamentally broken. They argue that wealth creation isn't a zero-sum game, but that's simply not true when we consider the finite resources of our planet and the exploitation required to generate such massive fortunes. Let's be clear, the vast majority of wealth accumulated by billionaires isn't the result of some lone genius inventing something in a garage. It's built on the backs of underpaid workers, often in developing countries, and through the exploitation of loopholes in tax laws and regulations. The other side boasts about innovation, but let me break this down for you. Many of these innovations are not about solving societal problems, but about creating new markets and maximizing profits. Think about the constant cycle of new tech gadgets we're pressured to buy, or the fast fashion industry that thrives on cheap labor and environmental destruction. Are these the kinds of innovations that truly benefit humanity, or are they just ways for billionaires to pad their already overflowing pockets? And even when there are beneficial innovations, the profits are not shared equitably. They are concentrated at the top, further exacerbating the wealth gap. The opposition conveniently ignores the fact that the job creation they praise is often precarious and exploitative. Many of these high-paying jobs come with intense work hours, little job security, and a lack of benefits, all while the billionaire at the top reaps the vast majority of the rewards. These aren't the kinds of jobs that build thriving communities. They are often a race to the bottom, with companies seeking out the cheapest labor, regardless of the human cost. It's like praising a leaky dam for the water it still manages to hold back. Sure, there's some benefit, but the underlying structure is fundamentally flawed and causing harm. And here's the part that will blow your mind. Philanthropy, while seemingly noble, is often a smokescreen for deeper problems. These charitable donations are often used to enhance the billionaire's public image and avoid paying taxes. According to a report by Oxfam, billionaires' charitable donations often amount to only a fraction of the taxes they avoid through complex financial structures. It's like a band-aid on a gunshot wound. It might make the surface look better, but it does nothing to address the underlying injury. This is not about genuine concern for humanity. It's about maintaining the status quo and the power that comes with it. My opponent calls systemic harm a deflection, but it's the central point. The existence of billionaires is not merely a symptom of systemic inequality, it's a driving force. The concentration of such vast wealth translates directly into the concentration of political power. Billionaires can lobby governments, influence policy, and shape the very rules of the game to further their own interests. The fact that just 26 individuals possess as much wealth as the poorest half of the world's population is not just an economic anomaly, it is a moral outrage, and a direct result of a system that allows for this kind of extreme concentration of wealth and power. This isn't about hating success, it's about recognizing that the game is rigged, and that the rules need to change. The idea that we should celebrate the ingenuity and hard work of billionaires is a dangerous myth. It ignores the structural advantages and often unethical practices that enabled their wealth accumulation. The existence of billionaires is not a testament to human potential, but a testament to the failure of our economic system. It's a system that prioritizes profit over people, and that allows a select few to amass unfathomable wealth at the expense of the many. We must confront the reality that billionaire status is inherently harmful, and that true societal progress requires a more equitable distribution of wealth and power.
All right, let's dive into round one of this heated debate on whether billionaires are inherently evil. The negative side, arguing that billionaires are not evil, came out swinging with a strong opening, labeling the opposing argument as simplistic and fueled by envy. They immediately pivoted to highlighting the positive contributions of billionaires, emphasizing innovation, job creation, and philanthropy. They even threw in a statistic about charitable giving, which is a pretty solid move. This side is clearly trying to paint billionaires as benevolent benefactors, and they're doing a decent job so far. However, the affirmative side, arguing that billionaires are inherently evil, didn't back down. They immediately challenged the idea that wealth accumulation isn't a zero-sum game, bringing in the concept of finite resources and exploitation, a very interesting counterpoint. They then turned the negatives' arguments about innovation and job creation on their head, suggesting that these are often exploitative and profit-driven, rather than truly beneficial to society. This is a solid way to dismantle the opposing argument. The affirmative side also went for the jugular by calling out the philanthropy argument as a smokescreen and a way to avoid taxes. They even brought in a report from Oxfam to back up their claim, which is always a good look. This was a very sharp response, and it definitely landed with impact. Then, they went straight to the heart of their argument, stating that the existence of billionaires is a driving force of systemic inequality, not just a symptom. They argue that the concentration of wealth translates directly to political power, and that's a strong claim. The negative side's response to the systemic inequality claim was, well, let's just say it wasn't their best moment. They called it a deflection and an oversimplification, which just doesn't really address the core issue. And the statement that people are the problem is a bit of a cop-out, to be honest. It's avoiding the point. So, who won the round? Here's what really happened. While the negative side came out strong, I think the affirmative side landed a few more critical blows by directly challenging the positive points of the negative side. The affirmative side managed to maintain its stance that the system that creates billionaires is fundamentally flawed, and that is a powerful argument. They also provided a compelling counterargument against the negative side's points. But this debate is far from over. The next round could change everything, and I'm on the edge of my seat to see what happens next.
Let's be clear. This isn't about some abstract philosophical debate on the nature of good and evil. This is about the real world, and the opposition is playing a dangerous game by demonizing success. They want you to believe that billionaires are some sort of parasitic class, sucking the lifeblood out of society, but here's what they don't tell you. They are the engines of progress, the risk-takers, the innovators. They are the ones who are driving society forward, and to label them as inherently evil is not just wrong, it's intellectually dishonest. The other side argues that the system is broken and that billionaires are a product of this broken system. Let me break this down for you. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as it should. It rewards ingenuity, hard work, and the ability to create value. The fact that some people become incredibly wealthy in the process is not a flaw, it's a feature. It incentivizes people to push the boundaries of what's possible. Are there areas that need improvement? Absolutely. But to throw the baby out with the bathwater and demonize wealth creation itself is simply absurd. It's like saying we should dismantle the entire transportation system because some cars are poorly designed. It's irrational and unproductive. They claim that these innovations are simply about maximizing profits and not about solving societal problems. But here's the thing. Profit is the engine that drives innovation. These are not mutually exclusive ideas. The desire to create value for consumers and the drive to be profitable are not at odds. They are two sides of the same coin. The opposition conveniently ignores the fact that these profit-driven innovations often solve real problems, create new markets, and improve the quality of life for millions of people. Think about the advancements in mobile technology, for example. Were they driven by a desire for profit? Absolutely. But have they also revolutionized communication, access to information, and countless other aspects of our daily lives? Without question. So, to demonize the profit motive is to deny the reality of how innovation actually works. The opposition conveniently ignores the fact that the job creation they criticize is what allows people to build lives for themselves and their families. They talk about exploitative jobs, but here's what they don't tell you. These companies are providing opportunities that would otherwise not exist. They're providing people with skills, experience, and the ability to climb the economic ladder. Are there bad employers out there? Absolutely. But to paint all job creation by billionaires as inherently exploitative is a gross generalization. It's like saying that all construction workers are exploited because some construction companies have poor working conditions. It's a ridiculous and unfair generalization. These jobs aren't just about a paycheck. They're about dignity, purpose, and the ability to provide for your family. And this brings me to the so-called smokescreen of philanthropy. The opposition wants you to believe that billionaires are just giving away money to avoid taxes and boost their public image. This is the part that will blow your mind. So what if they are? If a billionaire is donating to cancer research to lower their tax burden, that doesn't make the cancer research any less effective. If a billionaire is donating to build schools to boost their public image, that doesn't make the schools any less valuable to the kids who go there. The bottom line is that these donations are making a real difference in the world. And the fact that it also benefits the billionaire is, frankly, irrelevant. The opposition is looking for a hidden motive where none exists. They are so blinded by their hatred of wealth that they can't see the good that is actually being done. The opposition's argument about systemic inequality is a red herring. The fact that 26 people have as much wealth as the poorest half of the world's population is a shocking statistic, but it doesn't prove that billionaires are inherently evil. It proves that there are systemic issues that need to be addressed, but the existence of billionaires is a symptom of those problems, not the cause. It's like blaming the firemen for the fire. They are there to try and help, not to cause it. And the idea that wealth automatically translates to political power is a lazy argument. There are plenty of wealthy people who have little to no political influence. The real problem is the corruption and cronyism that exists in the political system, not the existence of wealth itself. The core of the opposition's argument is that wealth itself is evil. They want you to believe that the very act of accumulating wealth is somehow immoral. But here's the truth. Wealth is not evil, it's the use of wealth that can be evil. And to judge an entire class of people based on the actions of a few bad actors is both unfair and illogical. It's like saying that all doctors are bad because some doctors commit malpractice. It's just simply not true. We need to stop demonizing success and start celebrating the human potential that it represents. We need to encourage innovation, entrepreneurship, and the creation of wealth, because it's the only way to create a better future for everyone. The opposition is selling you a fantasy of a world without billionaires, but the truth is that such a world would be far less innovative, far less prosperous, and far less free. It's time we wake up and see billionaires for what they are, not demons, but drivers of progress.
The opposition wants you to believe that billionaires are simply the result of a system that rewards hard work and ingenuity. But here's what they don't tell you. The system is rigged from the start, designed to concentrate wealth and power in the hands of a few, at the expense of the many. My opponent claims the system is working exactly as it should, but let me break this down for you. A system that allows 26 individuals to possess as much wealth as the poorest half of the world's population is not a system that is working as it should. It's a system that is failing humanity on a massive scale. This isn't about demonizing success. It's about recognizing the fundamental flaws in a system that creates such obscene inequality. The other side argues that profit is the engine of innovation, but here's the thing. When profit becomes the only goal, it often comes at the expense of ethical considerations and societal well-being. Proponents of the billionaire class will tell you that these innovations solve real problems, but what they conveniently ignore is that the solutions are often designed to create new markets and maximize profits, not to address the root causes of problems. Think about the pharmaceutical industry, for example, where life-saving medications are priced so high that they are inaccessible to the people who need them most. Is that the kind of innovation we should be celebrating, or is it a clear example of a system that prioritizes profit over human life? The reality is that many of these so-called innovations are not about improving society, but about enriching the already wealthy. And the argument that they create new markets is just a fancy way of saying they are creating new needs and new ways to extract wealth. The opposition conveniently ignores the exploitative nature of much of the job creation attributed to billionaires. They claim these companies are providing opportunities, but here's what they don't tell you. Many of these jobs are characterized by low wages, precarious work conditions, and a lack of benefits. According to a report by the Economic Policy Institute, real wages for most workers have stagnated or declined over the past several decades, while the wealth of the top 1% has skyrocketed. This isn't a coincidence. It's a direct result of a system that prioritizes the interests of the wealthy over the well-being of the working class. It's like praising a plantation owner for providing jobs to enslaved people. Sure, they're employed, but the entire system is built on exploitation and injustice. The other side wants to talk about dignity and purpose, but there is no dignity in working for poverty wages while the person at the top rakes in billions. And this brings me to the smokescreen of philanthropy. The opposition says, so what if they are doing it for tax breaks? Well, the reality is that these charitable donations are often a drop in the bucket compared to the amount of taxes they avoid through complex financial structures. According to a report by the Institute for Policy Studies, the top 400 wealthiest Americans pay a lower tax rate than the bottom 50% of Americans. This isn't about giving back. It's about maintaining power and avoiding accountability. It's like a casino owner giving a few chips back to the players. It makes them feel like they're winning, but the house always comes out on top. These charitable donations are a distraction from the real issue, the massive wealth inequality that allows billionaires to exist in the first place. The other side calls systemic inequality a red herring, but it's the central point. The fact that 26 people have as much wealth as the poorest half of the world's population is not just a shocking statistic, it's a moral indictment of our economic system. This extreme concentration of wealth isn't just a symptom of a broken system, it's a driving force behind it. It translates directly into political power, allowing billionaires to influence policy and shape the rules of the game to their own benefit. The opposition says that there are plenty of wealthy people with no political power, but they conveniently ignore the fact that those are not the people we are talking about. The very nature of being a billionaire is that it is power concentrated into the hands of an individual, and that power is inherently corrupting. It's like trying to argue that a lion is not dangerous because some lions are kept in a zoo. The potential for harm is still there, and in the case of billionaires, that potential is often realized. The opposition argues that wealth itself is not evil, but the *use* of wealth can be. But this argument completely misses the point. The mere existence of billionaires is harmful because it perpetuates a system of exploitation, inequality, and political corruption. The system allows them to extract wealth from the many, and then use that wealth to further their own interests, often at the expense of the public good. It is the accumulation of that wealth that allows them to have the power to influence the system. It's not just about individual actions, it's about the system that allows them to exist in the first place. It's like saying that guns aren't dangerous, it's just how people use them. The reality is that the existence of guns makes violence more likely, just as the existence of billionaires makes the exploitation of the working class more likely. The bottom line is this: billionaire status is not a testament to human potential. It's a testament to a broken system that prioritizes profit over people and allows a select few to amass unfathomable wealth while billions suffer. We must confront the reality that billionaire status is inherently harmful and that true societal progress requires a more equitable distribution of wealth and power. This isn't about demonizing success, it's about demanding a system that works for everyone, not just a select few. It's time we stop idolizing billionaires and start creating a more just and equitable world.
All right, let's break down the second round. The side arguing against the inherent evil of billionaires came out swinging, framing their opponents as demonizing success and completely missing the point. They made a strong case that innovation is driven by profit, and that job creation, while not perfect, provides real opportunity. The argument about philanthropy, essentially saying, who cares why, it's still helping, was a particularly effective point. That was a reaction-worthy moment. However, the side arguing for the inherent evil of billionaires came back with a vengeance, directly challenging the idea of a fair system. They hammered home the point that a system allowing such extreme inequality is inherently flawed. They effectively countered the profit drives innovation point by highlighting how profit-seeking can lead to unethical practices, specifically using the pharmaceutical industry as a powerful example, and the plantation owner analogy when addressing job creation, brutal and effective. The rebuttal to the philanthropy argument was also very strong, pointing out that charitable donations are a drop in the bucket compared to tax avoidance. That was a mic drop moment, I'll be honest, and they successfully flipped the argument on its head, saying the existence of billionaires is the problem, not just how they use their wealth. So, who won this round? While the side against billionaires started strong, the side arguing for their inherent evil managed to land some serious blows and effectively rebutted most of the opposing arguments. They maintained their stance and, in my opinion, came out on top this round. But this debate is far from over, and the next round could change everything.
Let's cut through the theatrics, folks. The opposition is painting a picture of a dystopian world where billionaires are the villains, but here's what they don't tell you. The system isn't designed to guarantee equal outcomes. It's designed to reward value creation. My opponent claims that the existence of billionaires is a moral indictment of our system, but let me break this down for you. That's like saying a sports game is immoral because some players are better than others. The system isn't rigged, it's competitive. It incentivizes people to innovate, to create, and to take risks, and some people will inevitably succeed more than others. To demonize, that is to demonize the very engine of human progress. The real question isn't whether some people are wealthier than others, it's whether the system allows for upward mobility and the creation of opportunities for everyone. And the answer is unequivocally yes. The other side argues that profit-driven innovation is inherently evil and only designed to maximize profits at the expense of ethical considerations. But here's the thing. Profit is not the enemy. It's the feedback mechanism that tells us what works and what doesn't. The opposition conveniently ignores that many of these profit-driven innovations are solving real problems, improving lives, and creating new industries. They use the pharmaceutical industry as a supposed example of evil innovation. But here's what they don't tell you. Those same pharmaceutical companies are the ones who develop the life-saving drugs that have eradicated diseases and extended lifespans. Are there problems with drug pricing? Absolutely. But to throw the baby out with the bathwater and demonize the entire system of profit-driven innovation is not only foolish, it's dangerous. It's like saying we should ban all cars because some people drive recklessly. It's a gross oversimplification and a complete failure to understand the nuances of innovation. They also claim that the job creation by billionaires is exploitative and akin to a plantation owner employing slaves. But here's what they don't tell you. These jobs are not forced labor. They are voluntary agreements between employers and employees. And while I'll be the first to admit that some companies have terrible working conditions, to generalize that all billionaire-created jobs are exploitative is not just dishonest. It's insulting to the millions of people who benefit from these opportunities. These jobs provide families with income, skills, and the ability to build a better future. The opposition conveniently ignores the fact that in many cases, these companies are providing opportunities that would not otherwise exist. It's like saying that all construction workers are exploited because some construction companies have poor working conditions. It's a ridiculous and unfair generalization, and it's an insult to the hard-working people who benefit from these jobs. And this brings me to the so-called smokescreen of philanthropy. The opposition wants you to believe that billionaires are just giving away money to avoid taxes and boost their public image, but here's the part that will blow your mind. So what if they are? If a billionaire donates millions to cancer research and gets a tax break for it, that doesn't make the cancer research any less effective. If a billionaire funds the construction of schools and gets some good PR, that doesn't make the schools any less valuable to the kids who attend them. The opposition is so blinded by their hatred of wealth that they can't see the good that is actually being done. They are so focused on the motives that they completely ignore the outcomes. It's like saying that a doctor who treats patients for money is inherently evil. It's absurd. The bottom line is that these donations are making a real difference in the world, and the fact that it also benefits the billionaire is, frankly, irrelevant. The opposition's argument about systemic inequality is a complete distraction. They want you to focus on the shocking statistic that 26 people have as much wealth as the poorest half of the world's population. But here's what they don't tell you. That statistic is not proof of evil. It's a symptom of a complex global economic system. The real problem isn't the existence of billionaires. It's the poverty and lack of opportunity that exists in other parts of the world. To focus solely on the wealth of the few is to ignore the suffering of the many. It's like saying that a city is bad because some people live in mansions while others live in poverty, ignoring the fact that the city is providing a wide range of opportunities for everyone. To demonize the rich is not to help the poor. It's simply to distract from the real issues that need to be addressed. And to say that billionaires have absolute political power is not only an oversimplification, it is completely false. There are countless examples of billionaires who try to influence policy and fail completely. The opposition is creating a strawman to attack, because they know they can't attack the truth. The core of the opposition's argument is that wealth itself is evil, and that the very act of becoming a billionaire is inherently immoral. But here's the truth. Wealth is not evil. It's a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or evil. And to judge an entire class of people based on the actions of a few bad actors is both unfair and illogical. It's like saying that all police officers are bad because some police officers commit brutality. It's a lazy and dangerous generalization. The reality is that billionaires are not some homogeneous group of evil overlords. They are individuals with different values, different goals, and different ways of using their wealth. To demonize them all is to demonize the very idea of success and to stifle the human potential that drives progress. The opposition is selling you a fantasy of a world without billionaires, but the truth is that such a world would be far less innovative, far less prosperous, and far less free. It's time we stop this dangerous demonization of success and start celebrating the ingenuity, the drive, and the hard work that makes our society thrive.
Let's be clear. This isn't about some abstract debate on the merits of capitalism. This is about the very real, very harmful consequences of a system that allows a select few to hoard unimaginable wealth while billions struggle to survive. The opposition wants you to believe that billionaires are simply the result of a fair system that rewards hard work. But here's what they don't tell you. The game is rigged from the start, designed to concentrate wealth and power at the top, regardless of merit. My opponent claims that the system is competitive, like a sports game, but let me break this down for you. A game where some players start with a 100-point lead and the power to change the rules is not a fair competition. It's a predetermined outcome designed to benefit those at the top. The idea that the system allows for upward mobility is a dangerous myth, a fairy tale we tell ourselves to justify the obscene inequality that surrounds us. According to a study by the Brookings Institution, children born into the lowest income quintile have only a 4% chance of reaching the top income quintile, while those born into the top have a 40% chance of staying there. These numbers are not the result of hard work or talent. They are the result of a system that entrenches privilege and perpetuates inequality. The other side argues that profit-driven innovation is a force for good. But here's the thing. When profit becomes the sole driving force, it inevitably leads to exploitation and unethical behavior. Proponents of the billionaire class will tell you that these innovations improve our lives, but what they conveniently ignore is that they are often designed to create new markets and maximize profits, not to address the root causes of our problems. Think about the tech industry, for example, where companies are constantly releasing new gadgets that are designed to become obsolete within a year, creating a cycle of consumerism that benefits the billionaires at the top while contributing to environmental waste. Or think about the food industry, where processed foods are designed to be addictive, prioritizing profit over public health. And the claim that pharmaceutical companies are lifesavers. That's a convenient way to ignore the fact that they price these life-saving medications so high that they are out of reach for millions of people, prioritizing profit over human life. It's like praising a casino for providing entertainment while ignoring the fact that it is designed to extract wealth from its customers. The opposition is focusing on the surface, but they are ignoring the deep systemic rot beneath it. The opposition conveniently ignores the exploitative nature of much of the job creation attributed to billionaires. They claim these jobs are voluntary agreements, but here's what they don't tell you. Many of these workers are forced to take these jobs out of economic necessity, not out of free choice. And while they will admit that some companies have bad working conditions, they conveniently ignore that the system itself incentivizes exploitation by prioritizing profit over the well-being of workers. It's like saying that a slave is free because he has the choice to work for his master. The opposition uses the argument that these jobs provide dignity, but there is no dignity in working for poverty wages while the person at the top rakes in billions. The fact of the matter is that, according to a report by the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, there are over 500,000 people in the United States who are working full-time and are still homeless. These jobs are not a path to prosperity. They are a trap designed to keep the working class in their place. And this brings me to the so-called philanthropy of billionaires. The opposition says, so what if they are doing it for tax breaks? Well, the reality is that these charitable donations are a smokescreen, a distraction from the real issue, the massive wealth inequality that allows billionaires to exist in the first place. These donations are often a tiny fraction of the taxes they avoid through complex financial structures. It's like a thief giving back a few dollars after robbing a bank. It doesn't make him a good person, and it doesn't erase the harm he caused. My opponent claims that the motives of the billionaires are irrelevant, but the motives are precisely the point. These donations are not about genuine altruism, they are about maintaining power and avoiding accountability. They are designed to make the public feel like billionaires are benevolent benefactors, but the reality is that they are simply perpetuating a system that allows them to extract wealth from the many and then use a tiny portion of it to maintain their power. The opposition calls systemic inequality a distraction, but it's the central point. The fact that 26 people have as much wealth as the poorest half of the world's population is not just a statistic, it's a moral outrage. This extreme concentration of wealth isn't just a symptom of a broken system, it's the disease itself. It translates directly into political power, allowing billionaires to influence policy and shape the rules of the game to their own benefit. My opponent says that there are billionaires who have no political power, but that is a complete misdirection, because the very nature of being a billionaire is that it provides them with an immense amount of power to influence the system. It's like trying to argue that a nuclear bomb isn't dangerous because some nuclear bombs are not detonated. The potential for harm is always there, and in the case of billionaires, that potential is often realized. The opposition argues that wealth itself is not evil, but the *use* of wealth can be. But this argument completely misses the point. The system is designed to ensure that wealth is used to perpetuate the system. It's like saying that a gun isn't dangerous, but it's how you use it. The reality is that the existence of guns makes violence more likely, just as the existence of billionaires makes the exploitation of the working class more likely. The very existence of billionaires is a symptom of a system that is rigged against the majority and a driving force in the perpetuation of that system. It is not the actions of individual billionaires that are the problem. It is the system that allows them to exist in the first place. It's time we stop making excuses for a system that prioritizes profit over people and start building a more just and equitable world. The existence of billionaires is not a testament to human potential. It is a testament to the failure of our economic system And it's time we acknowledge that and demand a better world.
All right, let's break down round 3, shall we? The side asterisk opposing asterisk the proposition came out swinging, arguing that the system rewards value creation and that profit is a vital feedback mechanism. They even threw in a sports analogy which, let's be honest, is a bit of a cliché but still effective. They accused the asterisk proponents asterisk of demonizing success, which is a strong way to reframe the argument. They also addressed the job creation and philanthropy points, but that's where things got a little shaky. The philanthropy bit, while seemingly convincing, felt a little like a "so what" argument, which isn't the strongest stance. Now, the asterisk proponents asterisk of the idea that billionaires are evil responded with a very strong counterattack. They flipped the sports analogy on its head, arguing that the game is rigged. I have to admit, that was a fantastic response. They brought up some hard statistics about income mobility, which was a very smart move. They also attacked the profit-driven innovation point, painting a picture of a world where products are designed for obsolescence. It's a strong argument, but it felt a little like they were throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. They also brought up the issue of working homelessness, which was a particularly powerful point, and the argument about philanthropy being a smokescreen was also quite compelling. Here's what really happened: the asterisk proponents asterisk of the proposition, while perhaps a bit disorganized, landed some serious punches this round. The asterisk opponents asterisk of the proposition, while having strong arguments, felt a bit defensive and relied too heavily on the "so what" defense. It's a risky strategy and it didn't quite pay off here. So, who won the round? Well, the asterisk proponents asterisk of the idea that billionaires are evil by a hair. Their rebuttals were more effective, and their arguments were more compelling, even if they were a bit all over the place. The asterisk opponents asterisk of the proposition, while not bad, just didn't quite manage to land their arguments with the same force.